That was a long 5 years. Hi, you may remember me as the comic critic. Well, 5 years ago I released a video on a certain convention, a certain controversial convention at the time, Alcon. And let's say my review wasn't particularly favourable. And trust me, if you look at the comments and the like to dislike ratio, you would actually be able to see it was not very popular. Skip forward 5 years and a fella, also by the name of Tim, released a video in a way very similar to mine. Of course 5 years had gone on, and let's look at his like to dislike ratio. Whoa, what a difference 5 years likes. So what made this difference, you may ask? Was I just ahead of my time? Maybe I was just a moany little whiny crime baby. Or maybe this other Tim guy is just a way better video maker than me. Actually, I think it is that one. He actually is. He has like Everton and actually he's funny. And anyway, moving on. Of course, my review was on 5 years ago, and if you just looked at Alcon 5 years ago, there was a lot more people going. Of course, I must let you know that Alcon was always quite a controversial con. Of course, there was always rumours that their chairman had been up to all sorts of things. Of course, as I said in my review, I knew about these allegations, but I wasn't going to try to talk about them too much, and I don't really, for the only thing. Of course, this is where a lot of the problems came in. I noticed that my video, there was a lot of comments from a certain guest. This guest is going to remain anonymous, and this guest, I think, is like one of the best friends with probably one of Alcon's main guests, who will also remain anonymous. And his friend is a lot more well known. This other guy just seems to be the friend of the other guy, and he's holding on to his coattails to go, I want my bit of internet fame. And he's got, quite aggressive on my comments, and I think even his girlfriend was sort of helping him, sort of trying to double team me, sort of like to like their comments to make their comments that they were legit comments. And I replied to some, and I remember saying one thing about, I know he actually said something about, oh man, I know bad things happen there, but I'm okay with them because I'm a white male. And, I'm really not okay with that, because he has a fan base, and he's essentially saying he's okay for his fan base to essentially be preyed upon. And I sort of said that in the comments. I sort of said, you have a fan base, bigger fan base than mine, way bigger fan base than mine, and you're a-okay to, send them to potentially this very dangerous environment. Some of them could be quite vulnerable, and you're saying I'm a-okay with that. I want my 5 minutes of fame. I want to see my friends, because at the time a lot of his community friends went, and that was really not okay. And then sort of things went quiet. He didn't reply anymore, and I was like, bust his balls. I don't know how. I somehow ended up finding his Twitter. I don't know if someone linked it to me or something. And he was having a humongous bitch thing, and I was like, oh, this is where all the hate is coming from. He is literally getting the mob together, saying, oh, this guy is a moany bitch, and oh, I'm not going to link him, but if you type this into YouTube, you'll find this guy's video and go and, lynch him and stuff. And it's like, whoa, this is not good. And his friend, who was the big guest at Alcon, as I said, I'm not going to mention the name, he was starting to bitch about me. That kind of hurt, because I actually used to really look up to this guy. At that time, I think I'd stopped watching his videos about a year ago. I'd gotten a bit tired because he was the same old thing. I mean, this guy is a pretty well respected guy on the internet. I mean, he's been in a lot of videos, and they started this whole thing where they go, oh, this Doug Walker had like 5 panels at Alcon that I can't find the timetables, that I can't clarify, but at least remember one of them was a dating panel. And my moan really was that this exact panel was a real good panel, because Doug was the main reason I won. And yes, I hate Doug now. Doug is terrible. What he did in this last year has totally destroyed his reputation. So I don't even know why I'm still bitter about this, because Doug Walker is a bit of a dick, as I consider. But back then, Doug Walker was my main man, and pretty much I heard, this panel was really good. It was about finding like the feedback on it was about movies you like that other people don't like, and people and the other way around, movies that you like that other people dislike. And I think the annoying thing about it was about 50 minutes, and this is it. The other panels are more Q&As with Doug, so it wasn't going to be so much about movies. Of course, I wasn't there. I was there for a day, and I paid my ticket. And so these guys go, oh, 5 hour, we're doing a 5 hour panel about this guy shocking because he doesn't agree with us, and we love Alcon because it pays for us to go and stuff, and we're guests, and it was pretty pathetic. And there was actually another guy that actually I was once we actually hung out once at an anime convention. We really kind of hit it off, and pretty much he is also someone else quite worse, but he was joining in. This was quite, and I remember this girl posted something quite mean, and she was literally dragging my mother into this. And you want to know the crazy thing about this? That girl's my friend. This is how shit has changed in the last 5 years. She despises Towers. She literally, any time Towers comes up on my Facebook, Anime League comes up on my Facebook, she's one of the first comments and say how badly they treated her. This is how brainwashed people were becoming. She was more willing to bring my poor mother, who had absolutely nothing to do with this. This is what it's like. It's like in football or soccer to your Yanks, where it's the last couple of minutes and you're 1-0 down, and literally these guys, the surrounding referee go, oh ref, oh he pushed me, he put nowhere near, oh ref. Essentially they're the Serena Williams of internet, just finding every excuse to go, oh no, this guy's not valid, this guy will say, the big guest was saying that he was misquoting me, and that what really hurt. You say because I mentioned Dramatica in my thing, and I never say these words. He's claimed that I say in the video that everything on Dramatica is a fact. I never. You can go back and watch my video. I never say it. So he literally saying to the video, going, "Rev, he's saying everything Dramatica is a fact. I know there's a Dramatica." The fact he's making up lies about me, and this guy's quite well credited, and a lot of people are going to just accept what he says because he's a very well-respected person on the internet. And, this is what Anime League drove, some quite respectable people to do. I mean, at the time, Doug Walker just didn't get involved. And credit to him there. As we can see this year, Doug just doesn't. He will just bury his head in the sand anytime any drama comes up and just say nothing. So, Doug was the same. And actually, I actually had a few inside friends at Alcon, and actually one of them who got Doug Walker to come. And as I asked him, I sort of said, oh, I heard, because one of my friends sort of saying, I'm really, I always normally follow Doug, and I noticed he didn't post anything about Alcon after Alcon happened. He always literally posts stuff about Alcon, about any event he goes to, but it was just weird he didn't actually ever address or acknowledge he was at Alcon. And I think he was supposed to actually have an episode take place at Alcon, because that I know his Casper, he does little bits at the con, and it's a cool way to get his fans into the videos. And I think he was actually filming, but he never never acknowledged no episode how it takes place at Alcon. And I asked him, and he said he hated it. He hated the event. Of course, he was being a respectable guest. He didn't want to slag him off or anything, but his time at Alcon. So essentially that was the one time he was at Alcon, and essentially the one panel I went to, as I said, the movies that you hate everybody else likes, and vice versa. Pretty much was really ruined, because literally this one guy wouldn't shut up about how he hated Spirited Away because he thought the parents were really dumb. And of course he made his point, and Doug made his point saying, oh, okay, yeah, dumb characters exists pretty much in every movie. It's annoying, but I don't, it's the need for the plot. They need to be in danger. You know, she needs to go on this adventure. And you know, he would show up and go, "Oh, no, we're making it a bad movie." And you know, and literally when Doug kind of had to, and I think they spent a good like 10 minutes on that. So 40 minutes, and literally sort of everybody else thought would have come up and Doug go, "Oh yeah, next person, the next person." So I mean, I had a real point to rant about that. You know, it really was, and it did feel like we could have easily had another hour. It'd been nice if Doug could have. Even though people were picking really bad, so some girl picked 5 centimeters per second because she didn't get it. She didn't get 5 centimeters per second, and I was a bit like, yeah, this is the weeby sort of fans that go to Alcon. So that's going to be me ranting on 5 years ago because I don't want to get too much into it. I noticed that 2 of those people actually still go to Alcon, and we need to go forward 5 years now to understand the context. So back then, a lot of people actually did go to Alcon, and had Alex Baker, who actually became a good friend of mine, or not good friend, I mean a friend on Facebook afterwards. And yeah, he's seen as a pretty cool guy. And a few years ago, he was sacked, very unfairly sacked by Anime League, and he was by far the glue that kept. I mean, that whole drama thing, he was the one. He essentially told that group of people to stop. He said, "You're not being, you know, you're not doing any favors." Oh, and the one last thing, Anime League tried to report me to the police for feedback, and there's nothing vicious in that. There literally was feedback. So this whole people talking about 5 years, oh how they, you know, they'll report any bad feedback. No, 5 years ago they were trying to shut me down. I was like trying to go. I think someone on their Twitter, but I can't find it. I do remember it. There was like, "Oh, please send us. This is abuse. We are being abused." And I even said to Alex, I said, "Bad feedback is not abuse." So we moved on 5 years ago, and about a year ago or so, Alex was sacked unfairly due to some drama that happened with a cosplayer that was really stupid, and pretty much everything kind of fell apart after that for them. Alex released a lot of allegations about the head, and a lot of people left. A lot of guests who used to go with them didn't. Pretty much, they did have a certain guest go last year, but I have have spoken to them, and they're literally saying that, you know, at the time, as they pre-agreed to be a guest, they didn't want to like back out, and you know, any cancelling does make you look bad because people are going to pay money to come and see you, and if I said yes to a con and then I pulled out like 3 months later, you know, if I had a fan base, that fan base would be pretty pissed off. So, you know, some people kind of just stuck around just to see if they could fix it, and they had Alcon last year, and from what I've seen, it was terrible. I actually have a friend who I didn't know at the time, but I met her at a convention earlier this year. She was like one of these people, one of the last, she prepaid for all these allegations out and decided, you know, let's try and make the best of this. And, you know, she said it was bad, but, you know, she went into the closing ceremony thinking, oh, you know, maybe we can fix this all, you know. They haven't done anything that cringeworthy. And literally, the closing ceremony came up, and literally the main host, Andre, literally was like, "Oh, everybody had a shower for Mike Towers. Mike Towers brought us all together, and we got him a cake, and we had a rip round, no problems." And literally, she said, how many people left that room? You know, they literally had killed anyone. So many of their long-term fans coming back to the con, and of course they run this year, and it was even worse. There was nobody running anything. Literally, as most of the people running the panels had gone, all the gophers had gone. They were understaffed. Events didn't run. There was so much. There's been allegations of certain hosts saying that quite inappropriate things to their main guests, and I noticed that two of these people who 2 years ago, you know, were totally White Knight in Towers are, you know, they were literally the other 2 big guests. So it kind of shows you how literally Mike Towers can still be, that he's still got these two people on, on his thing. They were more than happy to rip into me when I pointed out some bad things. Alcon always had problems, okay? It was always make your own fun con. I know that term has been going around. It always. Before there was actually people to make fun, okay? If you go back and look at like Alcon videos, the vlogs, I do notice a lot of them take place in the flipping kitchen, in the thing. People just seem to sit around that convention. And I mean, I did it at Amicon this year. One of the nights I just sat, for a while. I actually went out to the con a bit later, but for a good 2 hours, I just sat in the kitchen and, we're sitting around chilling. And in a weird way, I was thinking, oh, this must be what those people at Alcon, my review 2 years ago maybe should have featured, people sitting around just having a good time. But at least after that, I went to karaoke for a bit. Then I went to this Games Master style panel, like a video game show thing, and that was a hell of a lot of fun. And then I went back to karaoke, and there was, so my night didn't just consist of me sitting in the kitchen making my own fun. There was a little bit that was actually one of my friend's birthday, who I didn't get really see, and I actually was meant to go to another panel, but I ended up, doing a rain check and deciding to stay for another hour. So I can see the appeal to that. Sometimes it is just nice to socialise, but I didn't just spend the night drinking with my friends. I actually went and I actually did some things. It was really, really fun. But that what mostly Alcon seemed to be, just people sitting around in the kitchen. And I guess you have a big group of people. And I'm sure there was events. And from what I was hearing, there was some very interesting in-character panels. And if you're into that sort of thing, me personally, I probably wouldn't really enjoy that. But if you really enjoy it, and I mean stuff like Ami and Kitta, they don't have panels like that, so I could understand. You have the advantage there. We have these panels, someone like Ami and Kitta don't, and well, that's the thing. It's just Kitta. But of course, back to this. So events were not running. There was barely any dealers table. The artist alley consists of 2 people. Some pretty shitty things were going. I mean, heck, I got banned from the social page just for asking how it was going. Literally, that's all I got banned for. I literally asked how it was going, and me and someone at the con were just having a nice conversation. I wasn't being mean. I was just sort of saying, is it like last year? And I was like, yeah, it is like last year. Actually, it's worse than last year. Just nothing's running. And the next thing I go back to that page and went, it's gone. And then literally everyone's going, oh my god. And that, that's what I think what started it. Everybody was like, what? They're just banning people for like asking how it's going, and then that's where, the more trolly people showed up. And okay, I presume they remembered me from previously and like, no, this guy makes bad videos about us. We can't let him have a voice here. And that's the thing. It just sucks, this whole thing. I mean, there are other videos, there's 2 other very good videos that go into details. Those people actually at the con. I was only at stand apart from watching by, but I just felt I really needed to share my experience. As I say, that the Doug Walker I really don't like anymore, and that was the one reason I went 5 years ago, was to meet Doug Walker. And it kind of was rubbish because that was the only time Doug Walker ever came to the UK, and I felt like Alcon kind of, made him not ever want to come back. From what I've heard from inside people, yeah, he never came back because he really just didn't enjoy this con, and unfortunately he made the whole UK look bad. So other people never got him. So another con may have got him, and he may have actually had a good time there, but he would have never known because he would have presumed Alcon was like Alcon. So it really does suck about that. And as I say, these 2 people who mocked me 2 years ago still go, and they're still quite happy to go, it seems like. And really what I can say to them is, I mean, I lost my respect for you 5 years ago, but Jesus Christ, you see how bad the con is, and you're still backing it. You know all the allegations, and you're like the last guy is still going. And pretty much, you want to have a party that badly that you're just willing to chuck your morals out. And you're willing to put your fans, and that's the thing that pisses me off the most, your fans Your fans haven't done anything wrong, and you're putting them in danger, and that really pisses me off. You know, you don't. I don't think you ever sat down to think this, but your fans, you know, and they happily attack me. You're like, attack this man, and they did. You know, they are more than willing to do it, and that's the thing. I'm shocked, and you're like, yep, okay, these people, 5 years ago, from the comments you said, you knew dodgy things were going on, you knew there were some dodgy characters, and you're still happy to say Alcon is best Alcon, a best con, 5-hour panel, this guy's a jerk, and now all the allegations are out, you're still like, oh no, Alcon's the only con that pays me any attention. I'd rather have no panels than, Alcon was offering me a panel, I'd say fuck no. If I ever was a guest at a con, that would never ever happen in a million years. I wouldn't go to a con, even if it was like in America or somewhere I wanted to visit, and they were saying you'll pay your ticket. If I knew that con was dodgy, I would probably not want to go. I mean, if I gave it one go, then I found out it was dodgy, I would not go back. So that's what's really disappointing me, that there is still certain guests who are willing to put their, and yeah, I know they've spoken out a bit, these two people, and as I said, I really don't want to name them because I don't really want people to attack them, even though they'll figure out, and they probably will put this on social media because that's just what they're like. But I just want to say, you two, you know who you are. I'm really disappointed in you. Your fans do not deserve this. I mean, I stopped watching your stuff years ago, like before this whole drama happened. Like, stop holding on to your last bit of fame. I mean, you still make videos, you still get probably millions of likes, but you're pathetic if you're willing to put people in danger like that. And that's, I think, really what I want. So yeah, so this whole post Alcon thing with everybody trying to delete every bit of negative feedback, and I think this is the best place to put the feedback on YouTube because there's nothing they can do about it. Even though they did try to get certain people to try and talk me into deleting the video 5 years ago, and I'm so fucking glad I never deleted that video, because it was an archive to show you that Alcon always had problems, and people wouldn't have believed me because they said, oh, that video's gone, and I think this is the point. This is it. And I know Mel's going around. Mel's like Mike Towers is the new little like child, and she's going around going, oh, I screenshot that and I'm going to send it to the police. And I said, oh, well, Mel, love, this isn't North Korea. This isn't a dictatorship where if you say something bad about the people in power, bad things will happen to you. No, it's not. This is a democracy, and anybody is allowed to have their opinion on your convention they like. So if you're going to send me one of these videos, one of these favourite Facebooks, saying that, I am just going to spam you with North Korea jokes because you deserve it, love. And I mean, I feel sorry for you in a way, Mel. You actually remind me of some people actually I have on my Facebook currently who were essentially old versions of you, who were, brought in by the hype of Mike, and you thought, who thought it was the bee's knees and people like me were wrong. But we are dickheads sometimes, but we're not wrong about this. There's too much evidence. So that's just my point. Sorry it's been so rambly. It wasn't better. It wasn't as good as the other two videos, I don't think, that have been put out about this. But I think this is the best place to put this negative feedback, because this is the one place it's not going to get edited. It's not going to, get changed. And yeah, I was saying, just guys, just don't support Anime League. That's the way it is. Supporting them, giving them money to go to their events is the only way. Hopefully, the way it's going, they will be gone within the next year or two, I think. I don't even think Alcon will really happen next year. They're that short on staff. And someone who's been to other anime conventions, I can tell you, need con staff. That's something, once that's gone, you lost people, panelists. You're not getting that back. It's going to take too long to rebuild. So, yeah. that's really my rant. Sorry it was so rambly, but hopefully you enjoyed. Comment, like, dislike, troll, whatever you're going to do. Put it on Twitter and sulk about it. I know a certain someone probably will. So there. Okay.